Heyo everyone, Haku here with my review of yesterday's new chapter of Tower of God, and it was chapter 273, season 2, episode 193, The Dollar Show 21. And just when, because of what we thought was going to just be random power-up, when I was starting to doubt SIU, oh my god, he delivers the best chapter so far in the series, quite possibly, incredible. Just the best thing that I could have asked for. I couldn't have asked for more from one chapter. I'm gonna break it down and get into my thoughts, but I don't even it's hard to talk about this one because it was so good. Crown Game, Kun and Rack stand up for Bomb. Last examination, Rachel betrays Bomb. The Praise, Ja Wangnan, Akraptor, Horyang, and Jovial Grace all team up in the wake of Nia's death. The Devil of the Right Arm, Kun gets betrayed, Jaja blows up the Hand of Arland, and Bomb thinks that Kun is dead, and Dan gets the most amazing line in the series to me, to Rachel, the truth. Bomb and Rack reunite with that hug. Revolution Road, Rachel pushes Bomb off of the train platform in the exact same manner, mirroring the end of Volume 1. And now the Dollar Show has just continued, has just carried on that line of emotional moments, emotional endings for arcs. And, oh man, this was a climax for I remember saying afterward to one of my friends that if the series were to end on this chapter, I'd be happy. I love the series. I want it to continue for as long as SIU can keep it good. But if it ended this week, if this was the ending, I could be happy. Starting off, Pedro reveals the plan of pouring the acid into the core, and it's going to work because Uraha is on FUG's side and she can use teleportation, so she could just teleport Joaquin's team out and leave Team Bomb to die. But Yuri, of course, is like, no way, Bomb is going to survive and he's going to make it back to me because that's how things were meant to be. And it's amazing how Yuri has such trust and devotion. She's confident. She knows that Bomb, he's got this. Then, cutting back, we get where Albelda is giving the soul's power to Bomb temporarily. And it was confirmed in SIU's blog that the girl is Albelda with the souls fused into her. And that the power given to Bomb is temporary. Now, I could see that sort of being a little misleading thing, and there's going to be bits of it still left in him, but I'm hoping it's completely true and this is just a temporary thing, because I think that makes it a lot better in the story, and it sets us up well for when the acid starts pouring in. Bomb no longer has that power and they have to find a way to come together as a team and escape. I think that is going to that's going to be really good, and I think it'll work out really well that way. So I'm kind of glad it looks like they're going that direction with this. Also, the power is described as the fury and hatred of the absorbed souls. And when Bomb takes it in, Albelda is surprised and she says that, it should have really shocked him, that power, or it should have or it could have almost even killed him. So I think it's interesting to note, we don't know why. Maybe it's because Bomb is an irregular or some sort of other reason. Maybe it's because of the thorn. Or maybe it's because Bomb felt that same hatred. He felt that same anger towards Joaquin for what he was doing to these people. So for some reason that we'll probably find out, I don't think it's just going to be one of those things left up in the air. We'll probably find out, for some reason, Bomb was perfectly fine just absorbing those souls. Or rather, the power from those souls. So, cutting back to Bomb's teammates before the next round, we have Akraptor is distraught. He's like, I should have died. If I died, our next teammate hostage could have lived. But now, we don't know, because Joaquin's gonna fight Bomb for it tooth and nail, and like there's a good chance the next hostage is going to die, but if I had died, we'd have enough dollars to prevent that. Which honestly doesn't make much sense, actually, because the dollars were still spent. Yeah, if anything, Bomb would be in a worse situation, because the dollars were still spent opening the sub and for Bomb to descend. See, if Bomb hadn't saved him, Bomb would have already spent the dollars anyway, plus he wouldn't have gotten the 10 for saving Ackraptor. So yeah, actually, dollar amount wise, that line doesn't make that much sense. Also, Akka and Daniel start talking while Hanul is tending to Akka's wounds. Of course, Akka sustained the wounds from his great, last round of the dollar show, his great fight with Bomb against Joaquin, and when he held off the boiling liquid or the acid from Anna's pot. But sorry, that just sounded weird describing that. But it was from that, and sorry, got very distracted on that one. And Joaquin just thinks to himself about Bomb absorbing the power, and is it really possible? Is what the Albelda that he doesn't recognize as Albelda, so I guess her appearance changed because of the souls she took in. I think Albelda was originally a she. Albelda could have been a he, and the souls changed it to the girl, because they did say brother at one point. But, oh well. Yeah, Joaquin just sort of thinks to himself about all that while Bomb goes and saves Angel, who was the next up. So he saves Angel, and then we prepare for the final round. And while they're preparing, Bomb says, he replies to Joaquin, "Yes, I do have this power. The souls keep telling me to beat you," which was really, really good. I loved that, and I absolutely loved the use of orange. I wore an orange shirt today because of it. I loved the use of orange in this chapter, just with Bomb, because normally it's just blue attacks from Bomb, but it really showed the anger, and it made it look nice, because I loved the panels where it was dark, and it just had the orange energy casting a shadow over Bomb, and that was just so cool looking. The artwork, I've got to say, the artwork for this entire thing was amazing, especially the fights, and especially the flashbacks too. The flashbacks had amazing artwork. So we then get the flashback of, I think it was the day before sealing Joaquin, when they're talking about who's going to sacrifice themselves, and Rowan volunteers, but everyone just tells her, no, don't do that. And then they didn't talk about who was actually going to volunteer to sacrifice themselves. We get a really feelsy conversation between Akka and Daniel, and then we move into another flashback that was when they were sealing Joaquin, and it was so good. I absolutely loved the little fight sequence between Joaquin and Boro, and showing that Boro was able to hold him off and stop his swordsmanship, even if it was for just a second. And I thought it was really cool that though Boro's never, he's elementally strong to weapons, he's never lost a sword fight, he gets a cut on his face from Joaquin, and that cut on his face is the scar that we see he has now. That was really, really cool and well done. And I absolutely 100% love the panel where Joaquin turns around and Rowan is standing there in the center of the sigil holding the book. That looked amazing. So we found out that Akka held back Daniel from running into the sigil and dying as well, and he apologizes for it. And Daniel's like, "Don't worry about it. I never hated you guys for sacrificing Rowan or allowing Rowan to sacrifice herself. I hated you because you stopped me from dying with her." So all of the Akka and Daniel stuff was so amazing and feelsy, and even the feels with the Bomb versus Joaquin fight was, this may be the best fight in Tower of God. We've had a lot of good fights, but I think this may top it. I used to always say if there was any one thing I wanted to see animated, it would either be Crown game or the Battle X Gamble portion of the workshop battle. But now I think that this beats both of them in things I want to see animated. This right here, not even the entire dollar show, just this chapter, I want to see animated so badly. And honestly, from where we ended with Daniel saying that I hated you for stopping me from dying with her, that right there would have been a long chapter. That would have been a 10 out of 10 even. That was so good. That was as good as anything else from any other series I've given a 10 out of 10 to or better. But that was only halfway through the chapter. And that's what's amazing. And I really, really applaud SIU for it. He said he had a vision for this, and I love the way he stuck with that. He stuck with his art. He didn't care if it was difficult or this was going to be a really long one, or that he could have split it into 2 or 3 chapters. He made it one because he wanted to make it all one chapter, and to tell the story and to put forth the message of this chapter in one chapter. And I applaud him for doing that instead of splitting it apart, because it gave us something better than any other chapter I think I've seen so far. Like, I usually like to point out critical stuff and give the good and bad, but there was pretty much no bad in this, and the good was beyond the good that we normally see. So next up, Misang gets strapped into the sub. She's the final hostage, and this is the final round. Because of dollar amounts, Bomb and Joaquin are both going to have to spend the rest of their dollars to go down and finish this fight here. This is going to be the last round, because whoever wins this, pretty much it's decided that they win the game. If Bomb wins this, then Joaquin is out of dollars and Bomb has won pretty much, because he'll have the 10 for saving his hostage. So Joaquin has to stop Bomb from saving his hostage, or else it's done. A cool line from Rachel too, where she's like, the sword I chose will win this round. And that was really awesome. And it can bring up a lot of speculation over a lot of the people that think, maybe Rachel is kind of a good guy in some way. Maybe she's just lying to them and she is still trying to help Bomb out, which is a really weird and strange theory, but that could be used as evidence for it. I don't personally believe it, but I'm just saying that could be used as evidence for it. So then they both fly down, use the rest of their dollars to just fly down to go and Bomb to rescue Misang, and Joaquin to stop him. Everyone looking on during this sequence too was like, it amped up the tension more and more, seeing all the different characters and all their different hopes and stuff tied to this one fight was amazing. And Joaquin starts it off with a move called Rise of the Dead. And it looked so cool. It was so cool. It just sent a bunch of blades flying from all different directions. And Bomb's response to it, was my favorite scene. My favorite scene in this chapter. There are a million, pretty much every scene in this was great, but this was my personal favorite. Bomb creates a disc with his, I think it's the Donsula powers, or Wansula. It's the Wansula power. Wansulsa powers. He uses the Wansul disc, and he kicks off of it through the blades that are coming at him and punches Joaquin in the face. And the panel of that was perfect. The panel of Joaquin's reaction to it, with sort of his face getting pushed in, the little blood drops floating by his face, and his shocked and angry eyes were perfect. That face was done so amazingly. So then Joaquin uses a move called Flame of the Dead, and Bomb responds by making an orange sword out of Shinsu. And again, that looked amazing. And I've got to point out that in the blog, I believe that SIU said that he can only use this for the temporary time while he has Albelda's power, the power of the souls, because of Albelda's REA bloodline. And once the power has gone away from him or returned to Albelda or whatever, he's not going to be able to use the sword anymore, because even with his power to copy stuff, he can't copy a bloodline ability like the REA swordsmanship. So this next scene was intense. They start counting down one by one, and Joaquin loses it. They both go in, and they're going back and forth with the sword fight, and it all looks so amazing. And they're going through all of this, counting down by one, and then everyone's reactions when Bomb lands the final hit, as it's like the small smile from Kun, and then Rachel's shocked face, and freaking Rax just saying calmly, "Good job, Black Turtle." And then finally the huge spanning panel of all the characters standing there looking up as Bomb lands the final blow was amazing. It was beyond amazing. It was probably one of the hypest moments in the entire series. So great. And honestly I don't even know if you could tell in the live reaction, but I teared up a bit and I was like, come on, you can't cry over this on camera. Hold it in. And then again, the feelsiest line where Bomb catches Misang and Daniel's just looking over at him as the sparks like sort of light up his face, and he's like, "Hey Rowan, are you watching this? We've got a pretty incredible guy right here." That was, oh man, that was so feelsy. So many feels. And then the feels were like just, it had punched my heart multiple times, and then it's like landing the finishing blow on your heart. It ends on that flashback. We go back to the night before the sealing of Joaquin, where Rowan is up in the middle of the night, and Daniel starts asking her why she's up, and we find out during the conversation that Aka, Boro, and Sachi, they're all awake too, and they're listening in, and she says, I love my team, I love you guys, I love all of you, but like, I love you, Daniel. She romantically loves him, even though she loves her entire team. So pretty much she's saying, I'm going to sacrifice myself tomorrow, and I'm going to do it because I love you. I'm going to do it for the right reason. And then to drive it home all the way, the chapter ends on a blank white page that just says, I'm so in love that I don't even fear death. That was the perfect way to end this. The series could have ended here. Everything about this chapter was beyond perfect. It was better than brilliant. I can't even praise this enough, especially given that it worked as a story, as a self-contained story, as a part of the plot, and it told a message as well. And SIU even said it, he was trying to get across a message, and that was that sacrificing people like Joaquin did was terrible, and it's only going to come back on you, like the power of the people he sacrificed came back to defeat him through Bomb, and that the sacrifice through love, like how Rowan volunteered herself to die because of the people she loved. The dichotomy between the two, it was such a good story with such a good meaning, and I wasn't expecting it. Like, after we got the hint last week of the big new power-up, I was not expecting something that I thought was going to be the best chapter. Because afterward, I gotta say that it's up there. I can only think of a few chapters up there with it, and this might even beat all of them. This may be the best chapter in the series. So I've got to say, it was beyond genius. The artwork was incredible. The plot was brilliant. The moral it told was so well woven in. We weren't beaten over the head with it at all. They weren't like telling you the moral. You were supposed to see it play through in their actions. And from Joaquin and Rowan's actions, you got to see the two sides of the story play out. There was so much content, and the way SIU decided to do it like this in one chapter, that was art. That is how you write something as an art form. So in the end, I've always said that I would hate to give anything like, do one of those cheesy 11 out of 10s, it was that good, hype things, because I like to look at stuff critically, but looking at this one, I read it like 7 or 8 times, and reading it again and again, the good is so great. It is something you do not see very often, and the bad is pretty much non-existent. I think the only bad I found was that maybe perhaps Akraptor's line didn't make that much sense about him wishing he had died. I mean, it fits his character, but dollar amount wise, I think it's actually, it would have been worse if Bomb didn't save him. It would have been worse if he had died. So, I don't know. That's not really a problem, though, because it was in character and it fit the storyline, and I didn't realize it in like the eight times I was reading. I didn't even realize till I was recording this review and just came to the conclusion, that doesn't make a ton of sense. So, this is going to be a massive review. This is longer than some of my series reviews just for one chapter. But I'm giving it a 20 sacrifice sigils out of 10, because if that whole first half was a chapter, I would have given it a 10 out of 10 for sure. If the second half was a full chapter on its own, I would have maybe even considered breaking my rule and giving that an 11 out of 10. But the fact that they were both one chapter, 20 out of 10, there's no doubt in my mind that this is likely the best chapter that we have gotten in the series. So even though this was super long, I thank you all so much for sticking through it with me. Like if you liked it, comment down there, tell me your thoughts of this chapter, tell me your thoughts of my thoughts if I praised it too much in your opinion, because I did praise it a lot, but I do think it deserves that praise sincerely. Subscribe for more Tower of God, The Walking Dead, One Piece, and a lot more. I do at least 3 videos on each every single week, and I think that's about it, right? Yeah, follow on Twitter if you want updates on when I'm posting a new video or if something gets pushed back. And I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.